Let's cook. Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, welcome to the Beacon TVL Show, the weekly podcast from Beacon DeFi, your beacon in the world of decentralized finance. I'm your host, Professor Chris. We've got a great show lined up for you as we tackle the news of the week that's relevant to you, our dear users in the world of on-chain investing. Today on the show, we don't have from Talisman Robert. Robert's actually ill today, so everyone send your positive energy to Robert as he feels better soon. We'll have him back on a future panel. But on the panel today, making her grand return, we'll start off with Am I right? We have Van Ho back. Welcome, Van Ho, back to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. I'm so sorry. My computer glitched out. I think I missed everything you said, but
That's okay.
I
Mine
heard Van
glitched
Ho.
out too. Mine glitched
It did.
out.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what you said, but my name is Van Ho. It's so nice to be here today. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm so sorry. I have no idea what you said beforehand. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No, I was just introducing the show and myself, and apparently I've just glitched in front of everybody. So, now we're in a weird, we're just in a different dimension now. That's
Sorry
okay.
about that.
No, that's okay. If we go clockwise down the screen, we now have, somebody else who's coming back. We have Tanyette from Regal Resilience. Welcome back, Tanyette. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having me. Excited for today's conversation.
Yes, absolutely. And then right below me, if we're talking like, Hollywood Squares, the Brady Bunch or whoever, we have a new panelist here on the show. We have streamer, entrepreneur, woman founder, and educator as well. Welcome to Luana. Hello, Luana. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for having me here. Super happy to see, how the show goes and, excited for many questions and just happy for being alive today too. A lot of things happening out there, but excited.
Yeah. Hey, you don't tell me that. I woke up this morning, even though it was in a really weird way. I was normally, so for anybody who doesn't know the life of a founder, we keep weird hours, right? Most people know that I work a lot of time here at Beacon, and I went to bed roughly about almost quarter.
I couldn't hear it. What? Well, hold on.
My wife.
Oh, okay.
Was it me? Am I glitching?
Yeah, you're glitching a little.
Am I glitching?
Out like 5 seconds. Yeah. Okay. I thought it was me, but it's like you said,
it's
me
me
in the Matrix.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
No. I don't know what happened with the but
that's weird.
Just glitched the video.
Huh. You know what it is? I just got a new Thunderbolt dock because my old Thunderbolt dock was glitching, and now suddenly this one is glitching. How weird.
Oh no.
Knock knock.
That's
Are you
awful.
okay? Be better. Be good. But you can hear me though, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Well, so when the glitch happens,
yeah,
you sound a little robotic.
I sound robotic.
Yeah, so it's like the sound goes in and out, and then it's like the glitch you would see on screen.
Yeah. How funky. Well, hopefully for all of our podcast listeners, as we are also available on podcasting since we're recording locally, at least you'll be able to hear the show fine.
Yes. I mean, you can anyway. You can go and edit and cut those parts.
Exactly.
It never happened.
Fine.
Never happened. So don't worry.
What glitch, right?
What glitch?
Anyway, so what I was saying was, I'm on very little sleep thanks to my cat. She decided to wake me up and meow in my face for an hour. So it's going to be a fun show. Delirious Chris is one of my favorite types of Chris's. So I'm sure you guys will be heavily entertained by this. But as we do on this show every week, we're going to talk a little bit about the news. Then we're going to go into our focus topic, which is featuring women founders in Web3, an ongoing thing, because I think we need to have more women representation. I'm seeing myself glitch at this point. This is crazy.
You were seeing it. Okay.
Hold on.
Just random.
Okay, cool. Because I'm just like,
yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to plug in the other webcam at this point.
Would it be Web3 without some type of error? No.
Totally.
You're good.
And I'm wondering, if anybody's watching, am I am I possibly like 15 seconds behind? Like if you're in the comments, say hello. I just want to know at what point is this looking absolute craziness. So anyway, I'm trying to have a good first impression for Luana, and it's just this is not the right day. My goodness.
Listen, I told her so many good things about you that I
appreciate
like.
that.
She already
Don't
feels it.
worry, don't worry. Like,
Yeah.
this is okay. Like, I mean, I've been here for like a long period of time, like 2019. I've been in.
Yeah.
I didn't skip the Degen times when nothing will work, nothing.
Mm,
So don't worry, you're good.
excellent.
You're good. A
Well,
lot
we're
of
gonna
Twitter
go in.
spaces.
Excellent. We're going to start off the way we always do. We're going to talk a little bit about the markets and educate our users about the news that's going on. Then we'll go to our focus topic, which is featuring more women founders in Web3. So to go to that screen, because I have that. There we go. We're at a much different place than where we were last week, I must say. We've had some crazy candles moving upwards. We're on the way back to $100 for AVAX. I know many of you in the AVAX ecosystem are posting your tweets about what your price adoption is going to be. About half my AVAX stack, I bought it $125. So if we could just get anywhere close to that to get me back above water, since I top blasted, that would be fantastic. So
You're
with
a
that
2020,
said,
2021
anyway.
era, or
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely an OG in this space. I'm definitely
you
an OG
go.
in the AVAX space. One of my favorite NFTs is the Yeti Ski Club.
Yes.
Anyway,
Oh my God,
it was
that's
like Bored
so
Apes.
far back there. Yes.
Isn't that though?
Wow.
Like I still have Love Monsters, by the way. That is yes, I have an NFT problem with AVAX. I have roughly about 1,000 AVAX NFTs. So
I have about like 400 or 500 at this point. Like can we bring back like NFTs? Like what happened to all that?
Yeah.
Like
Ah,
yeah, shout out to all the great NFT communities in AVAX. Shout out to of course, close friends at that Mambo Makers, my second home in AVAX. So let's talk a little bit about bubbles as well. Much different this week. We have a lot of red as opposed to last week. Everything was up and to the right, but green, we're still good on the week. And why am I so glitchy? This is so sad. I pay for gigabit Ethernet, by the way. Cox, fix your shit. Come on now.
for real. We had
Anyway.
to go to AT&T fiber because of Cox. The same thing. It kept happening. And I was like, can't.
I
do it.
know.
Dog with hat. I'm so glad to
I know.
see
Oh
this
man,
here.
this looks.
Yeah, this is today. So there's a little bit of volatility, right? The way that BTC is going to move, everything else is going to move. And overall, based on the week, still looking porcelain at this point, especially if you've been, don't mind pie, but if you're in the situation where you're getting altcoins, which is something we've been talking about for months now, is now that we're getting to this next leg up in the bull market, start accumulating the altcoins that you really think are going to be huge asymmetric bets in the next cycle. And we're seeing a lot of these coins here starting to make that move. Wow, there's really a lot to think of here. But in terms of me, obviously seeing some of these here that we've been supporting for a while, things like ENA, things like Sol, things like Virtual, AVAX, 31% for AVAX. Wow, 32 for Caspa, 33
I'm
for
impressed
AVAX.
about Near Protocol, 34%. Like, how much is that? Like, right
Yeah,
now?
that's a lot. I mean, they've fallen so far though. So
I know. Like, this is why.
yeah, I mean, for me, Near is more of an infrastructure play, right? Because they're really pivoting towards being cross-chain intents and stuff like that. So
Yes.
we'll see exactly what happens with that. But I see good things happening for Near in the future. This is definitely an accumulation zone.
Yep.
If you're a Near holder, I'm a long-time Near holder. So this is all interesting to see. I mean, the fact that VeChain is up 23% is just mind-boggling. Like, why are you guys pumping into these dinosaur coins? No disrespect to all of my VeChain bros out there, but
Why ICP? This is, I don't understand. Sorry, I don't want to be rude to
No,
anybody.
you're fine. It's a great question. I don't have a good answer for you other than it's like deep in by association at this point because they're kind of in the same conversation with Filecoin. So it's like if you're in Filecoin, why not be an ICP at the same time?
I
Uh,
know that's kind of like that's impressive, but like
yeah,
interesting to see.
we're just
I'm
gonna call these Bebe's tokens because they don't die; they
I know.
multiply.
I get so shocked when I still see XRP on board because that's where I came in, right? Like before SEC, and
I mean, XRP, I don't think
shocked
it's
sometimes.
moving anywhere.
It's
Like
up
there's this
19.4%.
No,
XRP is
we're gonna see some
staying.
interesting stuff from XRP soon. So definitely,
Yeah.
we have Apex is in 3 weeks because I'll be in Vegas for BTC 2025 in 2 weeks. So in 3 weeks we'll have the Apex conference for XRP, and we'll finally see the XRP ledger, the Ethereum sidechain they're building. That should all be announced there. So I think there's going to be some interesting skies for XRP moving forward. I'm hoping that's the case.
I know I'm still holding, so
Well, yeah. I mean, because there's not much else you can do. I mean, there's no
there was no,
staking or anything.
we couldn't take it out. I mean, it was like pennies
Yeah.
at one point, so we all just were like, oh, just leave that in there. And now we're like,
Exactly. Tanya, is there any coin on here that's surprising you, or anything that you particularly are holding that you're hopeful for?
No, I think
Okay.
not really.
How about
Nah.
Fartcoin?
Nah.
Anybody on Fartcoin?
No.
That's the ultimate.
Hey.
That's the inflation hedge, Luana. That's the ultimate
Hey.
inflation hedge.
There is
I'm
a lot of people talking about it. There was like a lot of people talking about. I'm just repeating what the people were saying. I'm just
like, why am I
You're
so
gassing them up, aren't you?
surprised? Yeah. The one I'm
I'm
seeing
full of
go
dad
is
jokes. I'm
Trump.
sorry.
Like that one's still on there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't realize that it would still be there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, WIF being up 92%. Now, of course, it's going to be down on the day because there are going to be people taking profits. But
Right.
ultimately, we're seeing a lot of interesting things. So we'll go ahead and move on because there's a lot of interesting things we're going to talk about. I definitely want to get your guys' opinion on the last thing on the agenda today because it's kind of wild. But
Okay.
let's move on. CryptoPunks have a new home as a nonprofit entity has acquired them from Yuga Labs. Apparently, this is a trend where nonprofit entities are now going to they're probably going to be resurrecting older NFT projects. I think this is interesting mainly for the idea that even though they have a really old mechanism and we've met some cool people that own CryptoPunks. In fact, Tanya, when I went to the One Llama event in East Denver, there happened to be a guy who owns the CryptoPunks, wore the shirt with the CryptoPunk on it.
Wow.
Sitting at the bar. I was like, what are you doing here, man? That's really crazy. But yeah, this is good news for anyone who's a punk holder. Floor apparently is up quite a bit. So I mean, while it's a little bit too much for me because it's 6 figures for the floor for punks, they're gonna be working to make the brand more, well, not, I wouldn't say legitimate, but at this point, just to keep the brand going. I'll ask you, Van Ho, as someone who's been in the NFT space working on teams like this, this is a pretty important acquisition, at least for the brand CryptoPunks, don't you think?
Yeah. Honestly, whenever you pulled that up, I was like kind of clapping a little bit because I mean, first of all, CryptoPunks is so like OG of this space, right? Like I remember
Right.
the day everybody, man, I remember somebody trying to send me one and me being like, oh, it's okay. And now I'm like, but that's crazy that Ethereum from Yuga Labs. I mean, Ethereum with NFTs, are you kidding me? Like they're still going. They're still going because nobody can afford to get off the chain. So I think that's pretty awesome that they are,
Yeah, it's
I've
the
had one.
Infinite Node Foundation's the name of the nonprofit that's got them. So if they pick up a couple more properties, that'd be interesting. Did you say something, Luana? I'm sorry about that.
No, I didn't. I was
okay.
listening to Van Ho. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No,
awesome.
but I mean, I think we went to Art Basel in Miami, and I saw people with CryptoPunk like badges and stuff still. So, I mean, they're very much alive today. So that's really exciting. I don't know why though. I didn't realize that they were with Yuga Labs before.
Yeah.
Because Yuga Labs, I think, board, ape.
Bored Apes. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a bit of a shock to me because I wasn't like in that community, like I
Right.
know of them.
They're acquaintances. They're acquaintances in my.
That's that weird uncle you never talk to, like
Well, now
know of
they've
'em.
got a nonprofit behind it. So,
That's exciting.
CryptoPunks are not going away. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens from here. Obviously, I mean, they're just an OG collection.
Yeah.
Even what you're seeing in ordinals, I think anything that's a punk will get a push from something like this. So does that mean go out and buy anything that's a punk on any chain? No, but yeah, that's a good day if you're a punk holder.
Yeah,
For sure.
It's a good day if you're a Cardano holder. I don't even know. I normally don't talk about Cardano, to be quite honest, but shout out to all the ADA holders. Your stable coin is still not doing well, but they have now worked out a deal with Brave Browser, the browser that we recommend to all of our communities, to now integrate Cardano or ADA into the Web3 wallet.
wow.
This now means that we actually need to have more protocols supporting ADA. That's a good sign. This is a good start for those that, because Charles Hoskinson with IOHK has famously said recently that he still thinks that Cardano could flip Ethereum at some point, which frankly is not a very high bar to clear at this point. But we'll see exactly what happens. But yes, if you are in the wallet, you can just. I'm so scared if I actually click this, it's going to show a seed phrase. I'm like, nope, experiment is over. But this is exactly what you can do here. Just go to the wallet icon here in Brave, and then you just need a new wallet, and then you can pick a Cardano wallet there. If you're looking for farms, we of course use DeFi Llama. You can go to the chains, then check out Cardano to check out what protocols are there and to see what's available for you. But frankly, the rates are probably trash. But we'll see what happens. With that said,
Awful. I'm actually working with a game right now. Well, I say working, but kind of like a low key partnership they're building right now, but they're on Cardano. And at first I was just kind of like, oh, but I really like this game. They're really smart people. So I'm kind of excited with that news to see like what happens from that with them, because I think they're going to be a really big deal, but let's wait and see. But yeah, that was shocking news.
No doubt, because there's a lot of games that are coming up on other chains, right? Like besides AVAX being a great GameFi chain, Arbitrum being a great GameFi chain, Abstract being a great GameFi chain. There's also now Sui. Sui's is going to be turning into a great GameFi chain. Immutable, of course.
Many.
Yeah, so if Cardano can turn the tide, because obviously for a lot of new chain or a lot of chains that want TVL, they're going to want new people coming over from games, NFTs, meme coins, that type of thing. So, Tanyette, are you a Cardano holder at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Is this
I want to know the comments.
No, this doesn't. I mean, I thought the one before, the story with the crypto punks, I thought was kind of cool, just in the sense of like converging, old world with new world, like what it represents with converging community, those digital assets, and legitimizing them more in the art world. But this one, no, I'm not really attached to.
That's fine. I'm going to ask you on this one though, because this one's important. Starting next Monday, Coinbase or Coin is joining the S&P 500. This is big news, guys. For those of us who have been in this space a long time, I've been a Coinbase customer since 2011. I don't own any Coinbase coin, and I'm really, really sad about that right now. Any stock in Coinbase, but now they're going to be amongst the Magnificent Seven, right? They're going to be with Amazon, with Google, with Microsoft. Tanyette, this is a huge deal in my personal opinion. Interestingly enough, I didn't even read this until just now. They're replacing Discover Financial Services because Discover is being bought by Capital One. What?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Neither did I. I was like, well, then look at that.
Wow.
I use them as a bank, so that's interesting. So great bank, by the way. If you want a crypto-friendly bank, Discover Bank, top notch. So yeah, Tanya, I'll start with you. What do you think about this move with Coinbase? What does this mean for crypto in the ethos in terms of the mainstream attention? What do you think about this?
I think it just shows where obviously the political landscape is right now, and how it's laying the additional field to legitimize it in the financial technology world. I mean, it was represented in the fact that there was like that 24% surge. I mean, obviously, when something's too tied into the political aspects of things, the surging of certain things, it's still volatile. Like if we look at it, right? In the longer term, but they are making acquisitions to really push globally. So I think all of it is positive, right? Because with this current administration is going to be around for the next few years, and this is like super. They're creating the highways in, right, to take this global, to really legitimize it. I know we're going to be talking to some stories in a little bit about other countries that are weaving it into, utilities and other things. So it's really showing how it's not just a signal. It's becoming more and more a legitimate play within the financial industry.
Luana, as a educator in this space and just being in crypto as long as you have, what is this? Do you find this to be a watershed moment for crypto?
I mean, I think like one of like the most important things that I will say back in the day when I was like educating communities, for example, in South America, um, in that time there was no amount of like good understanding with legislation here in America, and it really didn't matter. It didn't make a change. They will still use, the path of blockchain to, use a peer to peer, which at the end, that's kind of like the use case of it is that I have this no middleman in the middle, right? Um, and then the more that we have gone into where is building taking forward, because there is definitely low numbers in development in Web3 right now. And it's not because I think there is no developers coming. It's because what Web3 offers, there's no stability for anyone. So that's how, I feel like the new generations feel the same way. And I feel like trade at the same speed with like universities. They sell you a career that you're going to spend 100K, 40K, and then you don't find a job when you graduate. And so these, positions here, yeah, they're nice. I can work remotely. Is that all? How am I going to back my family if something happens? Like, there is still a lot into education. This Coinbase going into an SP 500, going to move the floor for new students to come work in Web3. No one cares. People are looking for an opportunity. Are we delivering this? This is something that we don't know. We are preparing our grounds for a better foundation with education that really matters, right? That's why when I became into education and as an educator, I start like going into a lot of reality checks. Because yes, my mentality was like, once legislation in the United States changes, we are going to find better attraction, to the West. We will have more people building in Web3. No, we need better opportunities in Web3. That's when education will change and we will find a shift of retail coming into our grounds. When we can, I was talking with Vanjo. I know a lot of people in fintech here in Miami. I live in Miami. And I talk a lot with, people that are participating in Amazon, people, like AWS, like people that are participating. This is, we usually correlate in a lot of this, type of conversations. And a lot of them are like, oh, Lana, like, why there is no actual project or, something, a resource or anything that will allow people that are like, in the last phase of their lives, they have a will. Like, how can we see where their crypto is? Because if they're dead, like,
Mhm.
what happens with this? Like, it's someone if that family knows there's like $12 million in Bitcoin, how can that family take it, because we have thousands of people that have purchased cryptocurrency and they cannot take it out. This is another level of education that we are not giving to people. And I think that, yes, we should educate in everything. It's not only about the onboarding process, it's also about the important things that happen during life as someone that is going to be applying self-sovereignty. No one teaches you for you to be a bank. You're used to customer service, and we don't have it here.
Yeah.
So how are we really communicating and thriving and really offering tools for real users to come? Also, we want better education to educate communities into how to use projects. And yes, that's fantastic, but people need also real use cases. What is that we're educating for that is going to make it easy for them to have a better lifestyle or save more money or being able to survive? It's all nice in education, but I really talk about the ground topics, which is the reality. The coin being in an S&P 500, it's awesome for the ones that we are participating in the space for a very long time and that understand how the shifts are happening. But for someone that is getting onboarded, it really, okay, that sounds cool. What can you actually offer me? What do you do here? What is that, happens here? How is the jobs? Do I get benefits? This is the questions that I get from a lot of people that wants to come to work in Web3. And they're I know how to build in JavaScript and I understand how to do Python. I'm very good at those though, but this is something that if I want to work for a layer 2 will work? Does it? You need to know more than that if you want to build in blockchain. Are we there are certain things that in education that we have certain levels, and I have put it in certain levels. The ground, the basic, which is what everyone teaches. What's blockchain? What's Web3? Blah, blah, blah. But the real matters of how to use and become a self-sovereign type of user, that's something we don't teach at all. Because with time, we have learned to not be financial advisors. And at the end, if you want to teach certain things, you kind of become one. Because you're going to be helping the person how to open a wallet, how to sit down there, how to do transfers, not feel afraid about things. There is a bunch of areas into education that are still not responsive in Web3. Yeah.
I will definitely talk about that again. I appreciate. I didn't mean for this to be the segue, but I mean,
take me out of it. Okay, bye.
Oh my god, that gave me deja vu.
No, it's fine. No, I appreciate
whole
it.
combo, and I was like, oh my god.
No, Luana's speaking the truth, guys. I mean, that's the thing. It's you see news like that, and you're like, what does that really mean to me? And that's really the whole point of what we do here at Beacon, right? Whether it be with this podcast, with our great community. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there. Let's be honest. There's a lot of people who are getting some traction in crypto and DeFi, but honestly, what do you do with that information? How do you build an edge? And that's where our groups come in. Total Value Locked is our free group that you can join absolutely free. School.com/Beacon. We actually Beacon, we were going to do something. I'm not really sure, but Beacon turns 2 years old on Sunday, guys. So we're really excited, really pleased that we've done it. We've made it. We've outlasted all the haters.
I'm so
We're
proud
still
of you
here.
guys.
We're thriving, and join the many people who have come. I will say, if you come and check it out, of course, absolutely free. Check out our Start Here post. You'll get a lovely message from myself and our co-founder Andrew, and you'll see our 3 pathways. We have something here for everybody. Of course, if you want to be the best of the best, join our Beacon Mastermind to get white glove onboarding, one-on-one touch points, being amongst our industry insiders and just getting all the great information that you need, all the way down to just going to our Introduction to DeFi course, which is something I've put together over many years of being in this space, and I think is a really great way to get started. So join us, school.com/Beacon. and we'll see you there absolutely free. And I'll slip a 20 to you in USDC, Luana, for that great segue. That was awesome. We'll go ahead and move on. A lot of people want to be the crypto capital of the world, ladies, but Dubai is looking to become 90% cashless with their digital dirham by 2026. And they have gone and signed a deal with crypto.com, an MOU, not an IOU, an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, where crypto.com, I will tell you right now, you guys need to get a desktop app. Having it only be mobile is just unacceptable in 2025. But it's a great way to onboard USDC. I will say that. So excited for them in Dubai. They are looking to go 90% cashless. There's an actual point for me having this on here, which for some reason is not in my notes. But just like other places in the world, whether it be like El Salvador or to a place like Switzerland, where you can pay your municipal services in Bitcoin. The state of Colorado, you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. They don't get a lot of traction because I don't know if they noticed, but most people don't want to sell their Bitcoin. And I'm definitely not selling it to the state of Colorado to pay taxes. First off, we'll come back to that in a second because that's actually important. NYC Mayor Eric Adams has been making a pitch to make New York, Tanya, the center of the crypto world. I'm not exactly sure how he's going to do that, because if you're a business in New York and you don't like the bit license that they have there, yeah, you're still not going to like it, because but he is having a summit soon to have people there. But the one that's interesting, and this actually just popped up very recently, the state of Missouri is poised to become the first U.S. state to exempt stock sale profits from income taxes. And it's not just stocks, ladies and gentlemen, it's real estate and it's crypto as well. So 0% crypto or capital gain, just capital gains tax in general. That's big news, because far be it from me, I was already planning how we were going to live part-time in Puerto Rico and also here in Nebraska.
You just can go to Missouri.
No,
I mean, you can
for me.
open your LLC in Missouri and then you
Exactly.
can make it happen, though.
And then we're still
not a financial advisor.
And if I do,
Of course, none of this is financial advice, but I would recommend, if we're all going to find a compound together, the lovely city of Herman, Missouri, which is just
have you been there?
Between, I have. It's between Columbia.
It's nice.
Have you been to Herman?
Yeah. I live in Oklahoma, so I have friends that live there, right near that little creek. My brain was trying to say creek,
the
but
Missouri
that's
River.
river.
No, it's beautiful. You almost said creek. That's hilarious.
I did.
Tell me if you're from the Midwest without telling me you're from the Midwest, Vanho. It's actually you cross the Missouri and you're just like, where the hell am I?
Yeah.
Because you don't think it's beautiful. There's a wonderful winery. We're not really wine drinkers in my house, but there's a place there called Stonehill Winery.
Yes.
Excellent wine. So that's amazing, Vanho, that you and I both know about Herman.
Oh
but
man, I have to
beautiful
go
there.
to Herman.
It's
Wow.
beautiful. Like you said, you cross that bridge and you kind of like, as you're going over that bridge, like right before you get there is like, it's not Mormon. It's along the lines of, right. And they still have Amish. The Amish communities over there. So when you're passing over,
that's nice.
You're passing that bridge. The bridge is gorgeous. And then it's like, you're in another realm. You're like, what the, did I just enter here?
It's a beautiful bridge. I mean, I remember just seeing that, but yeah, Herman's cool. Actually, along Iowa and Missouri, like in between the big cities, this is between the state capital, Columbia, and St. Louis. You're going to find a lot of European cities. Like in Iowa, there's like a huge place, like there's one for Swedes, one for Danish people. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I'm inviting everybody to come to our zero capital gains compound, which will be somewhere between Herman and Ozark, the Ozarks rather. I just got done watching Ozark not that long ago again for the third time, and
oh, that's a really good series.
It's a really good series, yeah, because it's down here. My mother-in-law my goodness, it's a long way down. Anyway, the only thing you're gonna find, it's all here, right there. The only thing you're going to find in Missouri, besides some good barbecue and some good wine, is tornadoes. So I guess that's the only trade-off for being in Missouri. But oh, that's because in the wrong spot. It's all right here. This is the Ozarks.
You know, Missouri gets all of Oklahoma's tornadoes, so you know, you're welcome.
They do. They get all of Nebraska's tornadoes now too. So it's kind of crazy. So
You've seen it shifting more towards like Tennessee than
yes.
this is kind of crazy too. So I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, we're flooding Missouri to the ground apparently. So it's
well, we gotta
thanks,
flood them
Aaron.
so everybody else doesn't want to move there, and then
fair enough. So yeah, big
Oh my
news. Tanyette, I'll start with you. Missouri, yay or nay?
For me, nay, but it
No.
sounds like it could be a good pop-up. You mean just for what they're doing? We're going to see a lot
Pop-up.
of these stories.
Yes,
I was thinking a
exactly.
pop-up like accelerator for Web3, but where a lot of these cities in the US are making plays for, I forgot which other one. It's actually, I think it's Tulsa that is putting out where you can move there and they'll pay you.
I've seen
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of these moves for, economic growth within these smaller, I would call them like mid-sized cities that normally have
Right.
been in the background. And because inflation is the way it is right now, people are migrating across the US looking for new pockets where they could purchase for significantly less. I know there's a exodus happening even in Austin, Texas right now. I know
Right.
a lot of people who live there and they're saying people are just moving out. The infrastructure isn't there for transportation. Like if you're used to public transport and, the
Yes.
cost of living there is crazy.
Mhm.
I mean, they're trying to run it as if it were New York City without
Mhm.
the infrastructure. So
Literally.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this. And with the thing with New York, you brought up what some of the barriers are there, because anything New York, any regulatory system in New York, whether it's for this or even for health, is one of the strongest in the nation. So I don't know how he thinks he's going to be able to work around that. It sounds good because he's
Sounds
running
good.
for mayor.
Well, he's trying to save his political career
Yeah.
at this point. So I think
Yeah,
he's going to try
exactly.
anything to do that. So, so Van Hoa well, you already talked about Missouri, but I will say that the idea of having a zero tax place to live, I think, is probably
Big.
on everybody's mind, right? They're like, I'd love to move, because I hear South Dakota was that way too for a time, where they have much reduced taxes on crypto specifically. But yeah, the fact that this proposal is on Governor Mike Kehoe's desk, so he just has to sign it. But once that happens, they'll be the first state to have it. So
I'm excited
Oh.
that we even have a state in Oklahoma. That's two different things. So a state in the United States that's even doing this. I think that I really liked what she said before, was like the old or what did she say? Old with new, but it was like very poetic. I was like, oh, I love that. New beginnings with old beginnings or whatever. I love that, by the way. But I actually like Missouri. I'm like, give me like a river in my backyard and some land. And like, I would love to do the whole homestead thing, stay home, work in crypto and do all of that.
Sure.
However, I'm a terrible trader that I lost so much more than I had income wise last year. So I actually got money back on my taxes. So,
so you're tax loss harvesting. That's what you've been doing.
yeah.
That's okay. I can respect that. I respect the grind. For sure.
I am terrible. So yeah, I believed too much hype last year. Apparently, when I saw my numbers, I was
That's
like,
fair.
I made what? I spent what? My husband would not like that.
I said the same thing, because I unfortunately have I need a banner for Awaken.tax, one of our partners, because that would be helpful right now. But yeah, thanks, airdrops.
Also, though, like Missouri for business, if you're like looking for LLC, like I've heard good things about Missouri.
Yes,
So
I have too.
this could be a really good thing. I mean, I'm kind of going on with like what Luana had said, and like, the transition of like United States becoming more crypto savvy, like more jobs coming into Web3. What's going to happen to healthcare? Like, are people still going to like what's going to happen next? Like, that's like the questions I want to ask. But, I would move to Missouri. So yeah, it's a yay for me.
It's not that far from me because there is an IKEA in Kansas City, so I'm happy about that.
Let me see how far away I live from there. Hold on.
I live about three. I live 3 hours away. So I'm a bigger fan of the Kansas side of Kansas City. That's just me personally. But now that they're doing this in Missouri, I mean, that made them a lot cooler. So I'll probably just live in Missouri now for 181 days out of the year, and then I'll live everywhere else outside of that.
We could just have like an Airbnb there,
Yeah.
get our income that way as well.
Exactly.
Double dip in the new ways.
I
love
tell you
that.
what, Van Ho, I'll take 181. You take 181. And then
Listen, I'm here for that.
we'll do that. We'll split it. That
Are you
works.
kidding me? Because now people are going to be wanting to have a little bit of portion of that as well as they hear that like this is going to pull through.
Exactly. Luana, as someone who's down in Florida, where there's a lot of crypto, I guess you could say crypto friendly type of vibes down there, would you move to Missouri?
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking for somewhere where to live cheaper than here, though. Like here's
Definitely cheaper in Missouri, for sure.
This is
Yeah, for
crazy. This state is insane. And also like wonder if there's like less crime that exists here, like right now.
It depends where you're at. Like out here in Herman, yeah, not a lot of crime. In Columbia, there's a lot of just college yahoos, so you'll see that. But
Oh yeah.
Waffle House. I haven't been to a Waffle House in a minute. Anyway,
Ooh,
I'm
I want
walking
Waffle
road trip
House
dreams.
now. Oh,
now I
Tear up
am.
the Waffle House. Give me that
I
fake
am
butter.
just yeah. I'm tangenting. We'll go and move on so we can actually talk about you guys for a second, because there's two stories I want to talk about. Then we'll head home. This is big news actually. OCC, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, put out a brief last Wednesday, saying that now that they've opened up after Operation Choke Point 2.0, banks can do multiple things. They can offer crypto services and crypto asset custody to their customers, and they can actually execute to subcontractors with products for cryptocurrency for banks. This is that's the new wrinkle. We've always heard that they're going to offer the ability to buy crypto, I mean like big Bitcoin and Ethereum at a bank, but now you'll be able to actually execute and be in programs like staking programs. So to me, this means that ultimately the day of the 3-month or 3-year CD is over, right? Those 2 or 3% rates, they're going away, because you're going to have a lot better rates in DeFi. They're going to be backing a lot of these products. Plus, you're going to have a lot of these big banks offering their own stablecoin as a way for additional revenue, right? But I think what this means for DeFi is that there's going to be multiple protocols running up to try and get some of this business. I'm thinking groups like Compound for sure, because they have an institutional side. Clearpool, huge, not only just market maker with Wintermute, but also an under collateralized loan marketplace, which I think is going to be next up with regards to what's coming with RWAs. And then Maple Finance, I almost said maple syrup, but they do have a product called syrup. That's going to be another big player in this space. All of these are on mainnet, but they're also moving to all the layer 2s, and they're going to be going there soon. If you didn't know about this, we talked about this probably about 8 months ago. Figure, which is from the Prometheus group, I believe, they have Bitcoin-backed HELOCs. They are non-banking HELOC, a home equity line of credit. So if you own your home and you're looking for additional ways to, get financing, this is something that you can do, and you can actually stake on the Figure side, I think, from either through an institutional or through some other type of realm to make money off people's loans. So we're going to be seeing more of this coming down, and possibly because they want to tokenize everything, they're probably going to tokenize all kinds of real estate trash loans like CDOs and mortgage bank securities, if you watch The Big Short, and all these other things that are coming soon. So this is all interestingly shaping up to tokenize and bring a lot of this stuff to the average user, which, back to your point, Luana, we're going to need good education to make sure that people understand what they're getting into. Because for some people, they see a loan and they're like, oh, I'm going to, let's just go with the idea that it's a self-paying loan, right? That pays itself off in 15 years and you get a rate of like 5%. They're like, how is that even possible? You're going to get a lot of skepticism. So there's going to be a lot of education that's going to be needed to get there. So we'll go ahead and move on to the last topic, because this is something that I actually am hoping that nobody please, I am imploring to you, if you're in the comments, actually I haven't even looked at the comments. We have a lot of comments. I should probably take away the banner as well, because I'm covering somebody's face. Anyway, please do not name your baby Solana. That's it.
Solana
That's it.
as a baby name.
Do not name Solana as a trending baby name. Luana, tell me your thoughts real quick.
Great. Let's make this a meme.
I
I mean, you're looking for a meme for your post. Like, you should be doing this. Like, this is
Exactly.
great.
Why
Like,
did I
love
never
it.
think so Luana? So
Oh yeah,
that's a good username.
There you go.
It works.
Oh
so
my
good.
God.
What?
Fork Solana right now. Fork it right now in the background. Call it Soluana, and there you go. There's
So
the next-
Luana. So Luana. Yeah, we can do some So Luana chats.
There you go. You get that
Yeah,
one for
for
free for
sure.
sure. Yep. Congrats. So yes, I don't know why people are naming their baby Solana. Please just don't name them anything else like Osmosis or Pendle or Plume, Multiverse
Pancake.
X, Furry Fish, or Cocky New or something like that. Just keep what happened to like John and Marie and stuff like that. You know,
You can use Pepe.
Pepe.
Eh,
Okay,
Pepe.
fine. Pepe's kind of cool. Like, what's your middle
Pepe.
name? My middle name is
You can use
Bonk.
Pepe. You can use my
Bonk.
name is Bonk. You know,
That's a strong
my dad
name.
used to watch this. Like, he used to collect these things back in the internet. Like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Avalanche, get your ass over here.
yep.
There we go.
Avalanche. AVAX.
Avalanche and AVAX over there. You know,
All
that's a
right, well,
lot of.
I know that
Luana.
Luana has to leave shortly, so we'll go ahead and introduce
Sorry.
your guys' company real quick. How did you guys get Biddlemode? How has nobody bought that domain? That's amazing.
We said the same
but-
thing. It's crazy.
But
I
you
said
guys
the
are
same
building
thing,
something.
though.
I know
Yes.
you did. So tell us about Biddlemode that you and Van Ho are building.
Banho, you want to go or you want?
We've been talking about it all day. We should join effort it.
Well, I mean, Build Mode is a Web3 multi-role collective. Okay, it's a community. Is even more than that because it's going to, I think, evolve into so many different things. Right now, we have aired our first podcast that is happening every Friday at 11 a.m. At our Build Mode channel. And we're going to be in AVAC Summit. We're going to have a lot of interviews happening there, meeting everyone that is building in AVAX and all the projects. You guys know that we are pretty involved with gaming on AVAX, and we're participating a lot with that community. But also as well, we want to kind of like incorporate different sauces in the pan, I will say. So I want to meet, projects that are building in different layers and projects and founders that are coming from everywhere around the world. Aside from that, giving the space and voice to the people that are really contributing to so many projects here, like our moderators, the creators, they are constantly trying to bring you the nicest memes out there. And at the same time, those that participate in the space but don't code. I want to give the vote, the voice to all of those, and with Vanco, we have always been contributing as community builders, and we have excelled certain positions. We have been in different sectors. I have been in DeFi. I have participated in gaming, Vanho also. And now we are able to kind of like introduce this project, Build Mode, which is something that I'm always on. Like, I'm always on build mode, and I want to meet more people that follow that, mood constantly. And they're coming here for the true, long wave, not just the short. Because we have a lot of opportunities here. I think there's a bunch of things happening constantly in this space, and we need more likable mindsets in terms of build mode people, and that's what we're trying to build. that there's coming more things. Absolutely. We will be, I'm doing the announcements on our socials. But yeah, that's build mode, and I'm sure that Van Ho wants to give some words also towards that.
Yeah,
Before
I
she
mean,
does that, did you make this video?
Van Ho is the one that actually made this video. We both create together. We both incorporate together into our brand.
mhm.
And that's kind of like one of like the cool things that we keep from the project that we were participating before, which it was like Girls Are Gonna Make It. And we always had that great, I will say, like, we were really well adaptable together as co-working and really creating together, which is kind of difficult to find in Web3. So building this project together and kind of like build, everything you see is everything we have created, is such an amazing thing. It's kind of like, oh, they liked our videos, or they really like our graphics. Thank you so much, because we really put a lot of thought and work into building what build mode represents to us, and just seeing people liking it is really cool.
Yeah, I've always been impressed with the things you guys put out, regardless of what you're working on. Colors on this are fantastic. The typography is great. The images are great. The transitions are awesome. Yeah, just
Yeah.
yeah, huge, huge credit to you guys for coming together on a really cool brand idea. Um, I think it's welcoming, and I think that's the one thing, especially if you're, if you're a woman, or if you're looking to become a developer or just build products. Uh, this is something that, if I was looking for a brand to come into to work with, this is very welcoming, and I think this is a great credit to the experience that you guys have had, and yeah, more power to you guys. Vanho, tell
Thank
me a little bit
you.
more about the project, in terms of what's on the roadmap, and kind of what inspired you guys to kind of go this route.
Yeah, we were in Girls Are Gonna Make It. We had founded that previously and all decided to go ahead and dissolve. I feel like we didn't, when you're thinking of a cake, right? We had the ingredients, but maybe some of them were just off. And we were very lenient towards girls, but we really realized like there are a lot of men in this space. And we had always men asking, well, can I be involved? How can I help? And we just felt like just naming it once, for one thing, we felt like we could give voices to everybody. Everybody has a voice, man or woman. And so, men are what got us here, women are nurturing, all of these things, blah, blah, blah. But, we want to work together with everybody who's been supporting us this entire time. And we want to give voices back to those people as well, because, not all builders write code, they're,
Mhm.
help.
Did I glitch?
No, you didn't glitch. I think she
Okay.
paused
I
for
was
a minute.
like, man, right in the spot that I wanted.
It's a
Was
beautiful
like,
story. I love the branding as well.
yeah, no, it's great. I was very impressed. I've already watched the first episode. Definitely check out Coffee Break. That comes out every Friday, I believe, at 1 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. I think they streamed for like 3.5 hours last time. So
I love that.
uh yeah, it's a fun thing to do. So if you're looking to build projects and work with a collective of people that most likely are like-minded and are looking to serve the same goal, please do check out build mode, or biddle mode, is that as it's spelled here in Web3. Look, I think we'll wait to see for, oh, there she is.
I don't know what happened. My whole computer just
No, that's
Died.
okay.
shut
i i
everything down.
I
Yeah.
said some nice things about your podcast and how to find you guys, so
Ah, thank you for that. Yeah. But we just wanted to give voices back to where they, belong. But, we work really well together. And, I mean, like I did make that, but like we both sit here and we're like, oh, this color could be better. This could be better. Or like, we don't sit here and think like, oh, I can't believe she didn't like my work and like let that get to us. We're like, you're right. Like we really strive on making each other better. And so I feel like
it's
that's a
amazing.
really great, yeah, that's like that's the type of team you want. That's the people I want to be around. And we do have a lot of good things in the roadmap coming up that we can't announce just yet. But
Sure.
starting with the podcast for now. And like she said, we're going to be interviewing a lot of people from AVAX during the week this week. And we're both flying out to London next week or Sunday. It's just a few days. I'm so nervous. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. Like, like I said, we just have always worked so well together. And, after we all decided to go our separate ways, we were like, I don't think we're done, And so we didn't want exactly what we had before. We didn't want to be secluded. We wanted to be very inclusive to everybody.
Yeah.
And how can we do that? Like, a moderator is just as much as a builder front facing as, sometimes a founder. I mean, I did a lot of work as moderator and I do a lot of work as a founder. And so, different types of work, but those moderators help us so much. And, they have a voice, they have an opinion, and it's not always wrong. So, just kind of putting that back in the hands of just people, because at the end of the day, we're people. And so everybody here's here to build in some way or another. And how can we get those voices heard? So that's kind of what the idea started as. And really excited for you guys to see what's coming up. So yeah, I don't know, it's surreal, like
We are as
you
well.
never, yeah, yeah. I got
Tanya,
goosebumps.
do you have any thoughts or questions for
No,
Van
I
Ho?
love everything she's talking about, especially the bridging between, women and men in business, and how sometimes when we're doing these groups that we kind of alienate segments. And
Yeah,
to her point, like, we didn't arrive to some of these old paradigms that are currently dying by accident, right? And in order
right.
for us to redesign them and reimagine, it's a collective, more healed perspective. I love the branding, I love the concept, I love that you're giving voices to the whole ecosystem of humans that are passionate about it. It's like check, check, check. And I'll be
Got
digging in to
goosebumps.
learn more, listening to the podcast and following your journey.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Yeah, I've got goosebumps. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so weird that, like, we both started so small, like community. She had a little bit more experience like marketing, and I did as well, just like you said, in the old ways of life, the old traditions. And how could we bring that here and make everybody's voices heard, So no, thank you so much for that. That's the nicest thing I've ever heard.
Aw.
That's great. We'll go ahead and transition over to you, Tanya, because I think it's a really good segue for what you're doing with Regal Resilience. So, uh, let the group know a bit more about what you're doing with Regal.
So Regal Resilience is basically, it actually just started as a in-person series in Art Basel, Miami back in 2023. It was a talk series I've always wanted to do, which was to bring a stage to women entrepreneurs and allies, especially diverse, cross-generational, cross-cultural voices, to the stage to talk about their F up stories. It was actually inspired by, in Europe, they do F up nights where someone can come up vulnerably and speak to it. They're starting to do it in the US. They usually end up like selling out tickets for those events. And it was really based on my own, like, 2019 major first time founder F up story with an AI company, conversational AI company I launched back then. And I always felt like if we could share more of these stories and remove the shame and really bring voices together, how powerful that is, right? Especially when we're talking about the younger generation coming forward. And then just how life is. I have a sales, marketing, and partnership background, and I love nerding out on how can we circulate economy to start shifting these old economic paradigms. And then just literally after this event, I crossed paths with my technical co-founder who had worked for Google, Amazon, all these major companies as they're like very high up. And he had a lot of what I was wanting to do, as far as like, I wanted to create a community, but I wanted to create a community to fill a couple gaps. One is, how do we circulate economy through partnerships and ecosystems to be able to actually help finance some of these smaller early stage startups that don't get VC funding initially, or these small businesses or e-commerce brands that aren't quite over that $100,000 stage. How can we start building sustainable business pipeline for them, right? And the only way you can do that is to circulate economy, to create a marketplace that isn't static. So what we did was, he actually went Web 0 with it, even though yes, we're Web 3. He went to the root of the problem, which was the digital space, right? The World Wide Web was always meant to be free flowing. And so what he did was reopen it. And when you reopen it, that means we all get to own our digital influence. And the reason why, Meta and all these major social platforms are worth billions of dollars is because they essentially own our IP, right? Because everyday humans, whether or not they identify themselves as an influencer, is still a human of influence. I would say that most of the digital economy is not locked into the influencer that has millions of followers. It's actually the everyday human that may have only at 500 to 1,000, that micro influencer, that still has a huge amount of influence. So what we did was we took that concept into our marketplace, which allows us to, if anybody is sharing content from our network out, so they'd be sharing it anyway, their information, they own their data, it's free flowing. We can reward them for any sales or any memberships that's happening within our community. So basically, we call it reverse e-commerce. You're going to share anyway, but in our world, we see the entire human value chain of who's sharing content to drive eyes, to drive sales within the marketplace, right? And that's huge for a couple reasons. One, trust with social platforms is diminishing. At the beginning of the year, we saw with DEI, a lot of people were getting upset. They're, divesting from Amazon. In a way, we become a like carefully curated network of networks of marketplaces that have like a certain impact in mind. We're on the chain. So obviously in the back of the wallet, there's full transparency. They don't need to have a tacky affiliate code. So it removes sort of those barriers for everyday humans that don't want to have an affiliate code to be rewarded for their influence. So we've removed a lot of those barriers. And then for some of our founding partner members, we give them profit sharing off the network. So it was our way of converging, everyday women and allies into a space and say, here, we can circulate economy and start reimagining systems to help these businesses that are featured within our marketplace. And of course, we do education like every other community. But my big goal is in the future is how do we reimagine venture collectives? So as we get more of our networks and other networks spun off, they're all unsiloed, speaking to each other, circulating economy around. That's when you can have that bigger conversation of how do you reimagine sort of those, what a VC or venture collective looks like now. And with the wealth transfer that's happening with women currently, and I think that becomes going back to Luana's conversation with education. In the next 5 years, women are going to have basically control of over 50% of the global assets. So all these conversations on how do we reimagine e-commerce? How do we reimagine circulating economy? How do we educate more on web3? Because there's a barrier there of education for a lot of women. I haven't looked at an official stat, but just for everyday women, a lot of them just find it overwhelming perhaps to dive in. So there is a huge education gap. With that wealth transfer happening, all of this is going to change. So how do we start preparing for it instead of waiting for it? Because it's happening now to the next 5 years. And then after that, it's next gen that will also be controlling a lot of the world's global assets. Now is the time to start shifting things. So this is our version 1 of doing it. And we have a second network actually that's spinning off by South by Southwest in London the first week of June. That one's more in healthcare. And it will be serving healthcare workers, healthcare brands in the UK. And our ethos is circulation, solving problems, and then everyday humans with the displacement with AI. Now, when they own their digital influence, can make residual income on a monthly basis that's viable for supporting networks that they love and brands that they love. So that's kind of the bigger. I know I threw a lot out there.
I just thought that's a lot to process, but holy
how good is she? How good is she?
I know. I'm like, I already have it in the background on my page. I was like, I'm typing this in. I'm going. I'm like, this sounds literally like we were just talking about while we were building this. Like, I absolutely love this. Like,
Yeah, this is just version 1 with what it looks like because we're meeting customers where they are now. It's going to evolve. We just launched in January, but we're always looking for good partnerships, ways to like co-collaborate, cross-pollinate, even with things that you're doing, because I see a lot of alignment there. We're always looking for mentors for the women and allies in our community. And we say allies because we have men in our community as well that are either educators giving back, supporting what we're doing. Some of their brands are in there. And our marketplace is not only consumers, there's like coaches in there, tech companies as well. So it's a combination of B2B and B2C for the first marketplace. And the second one's launching now. So all good things, but it's a big mountain we're climbing.
I love this. No, it's amazing. You're right. Like everything you said, I was like, man, I just had this conversation today. Like, and I had no idea this was like here. Like,
Yeah,
like
it's
you just
here.
said now to 5. And I'm like, that's where my brain's been is now to 5. Like, how do we change it now? Like
Yeah,
that's
it's
crazy.
huge.
But
It's huge. And what Luana brought up is legitimately that's going to be the pain point if we wait because the US is already moving on it, which and the moves with the bank as well show that that's mass adoption. What's been missing is mass adoption. Once it's there, the huge gap is going to be education. And that's where you know, those are, then that's where it can go to the dark side with, you know, people that'll take advantage and exploit. So the more we can come together and start educating wealth transfer and next gen, the better this whole space is going to be moving forward.
Definitely agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
for sustainability purposes.
It's amazing. Oh,
I
muted.
think we lost you.
You got the mute on.
Oh, you're muted.
He's been replying this whole time, girl.
I'm like, go on, girl. Go on, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. You see me just like silent. No, I'm just like, I'm just so happy that we're able to provide a platform for you guys to talk about this, because it's so important. In my personal opinion, we need to get the word out. We need to make all of this as accessible as possible. If you have big dreams, you can make them happen. And that is absolutely represented by everybody here on this panel today. They're going out, they're taking the opportunities that are coming to them. There's going to be a race. I'm not going to say a race for attention in this space. There's always going to be a race for attention and eyeballs. But with people with the right intentions, people with the right outcomes and the right processes, sorely needed in this space. Too many people sitting here just trying to speculate and make money off of things. And we want people that are here building real products, real things to make people and our experiences better. So kudos to both of you. I did have a quick question for both of you, then we'll wrap up. But what was the main reason for either of you to consider doing Web3? Was it just what you're comfortable with? Is it a lack of competition because we're so early into this venue? I just want to kind of get an idea from both of you. I will start with you, Van Ho, about, you know, what was the main motivation for starting your business here in Web3 as opposed to traditionally?
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is, like, we always talk about how early we are, right? For me, like, I was a content creator, influencer, like she said, like, anybody's voice can be amplified and heard on any social platform. And for me, like, that's what happened. And so I've been doing this long before. And so I'll say that Web3, we're early. It's just easier here to get started in that aspect. And it took me years to learn Web3. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been here almost 5 years, and I'm like, oh, wow, I get it now, but like, how many of these people coming in, like, I had to deal with, like, learning how to, in the XRP days, how to put in bids and stuff to get token trades. And I know it's a lot easier now, but we're still so far from that mainstreaming onboarding process because there's so much to learn still. I mean, you go into a space, we all talk in Web3 lingo. I mean, I remember Googling words like, what's mainstreaming? What's adoption? What is Web3? Like, and the first time somebody asks you, what is Web3? You realize it's a giant web. You can't just simplify it into one word. And I did used to work in education. And so I thought, like, how can I explain this to myself if I were 5? How would I have explained this to a kindergartner? And for me, that was gaming. That's what I fell in love with. That's what I was passionate with. That's what got me started. And so for me, I'm like a visual learner. And so taking those things, like, what helped me here, how can I translate that into something else? Like, everything I've done here has been a foundation block for where I am today. And, we all start somewhere, right? And whether that be a community member, like she was saying, like, just sharing your voices, because as people, I'm more likely listen to, like, my best friend talking about something she's passionate about than the social media influencer at the end of the day with like 100,000 people that I know is just here selling me something. Yeah. So I feel like that's what we got here with Buildle. We were like, even the smallest voices are loud. And so I think that says so much. And so I don't know, just like, God, I got like so passionate all over again today, just like hearing these combos, because it's something you talk with friends and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, it's needed, but you have no idea unless you open your voice to other people, that other people have the same ideas. I'm like, voices are stronger together. That was like our whole thing. Like, voices are stronger together, even the smallest ones. Right. And so there's so much opportunity and ways for us to change things and grow things and make them better. Because when I got here, it wasn't it. That was my goal, was to make a change, some type of change, like, there was a point where people were like, it's just about money, that we lost the voices of people, and so we talk about that a lot. And I don't know. That's how I got here today. It was just, I want to help people. And that was, initially in like healthcare before I got here, and education, and then, social media influencing, and then like photography. And how can I grab all these things and bring them here? And what do I know? What do I know? What have I learned? And how can I get this to other people? Like, how can we grow this space really without just being like, oh, adoption, mainstreaming? Like, okay, but what is it and how do we get there? Like, how do you get your friends in here? So I don't know. With the Trump legislation, people are finally hearing things. My mom talks about Bitcoin and anthrax all the time, guys. I'm killing it. So, like, I don't know. We're here, right? And it's time. It's
That's
time to
going.
onboard
That's
people,
going in the
Diesel.
short form content for sure. Bitcoin, anthrax.
It is. My mom.
Susan brought up a great point that this is the first time in history that the individual can lead the change. I mean, and it's amazing. It's amazing how tangible that is. And like you, Van Ho, I think we share a lot of common values with regards to that. So, Tanya, I guess that leads to a great segue to you, because you're all about having people own their influence. What was really the inspiration, the impetus that made you want to do this in Web3 as opposed to like a Web 2 or Web 0 type of environment?
It was the right time for me. I would consider myself still a novice. There's a ton for me to learn. And that's why what I love about what Van Ho is doing is that you do need different voices, because what happens when people are too into specific Web3 or their tech, they start to throw around jargon that doesn't mean anything to mainstream, right? Nobody cares about half of the acronyms that exist in all tech, AI, all of it, emerging tech. So for me, it was just what would be the best solution, since we know long range what the vision is, right? It's not just to have one network, it's a multitude of networks and marketplaces. And what's the best technology to bridge that, where there's full transparency? It's all about disruption for me and impact. I am very impact driven first. The rest falls into place afterwards. And I don't need our community members or any future network member to really understand. I barely even talk about the blockchain unless someone brings it up, and we'll be adding more geeky stuff to it later on. But we're just meeting the customer where they are first right now, right? We welcome them in with this opportunity to circulate. And then we are going to have partners like what we're doing with you, Chris, that can come in and educate community members. That's our way of also being able to say, yes, you're a startup founder, you're an e-com brand, or you're a small business owner. You should know about this. It's going to impact the not too distant future. So we want to create those education pillars for our community members. But for me, it was all about timing. I met the right co-founder literally as all of this was it was almost as if I'm spiritual, but it's like it was called in at the right time and it just went boom kind of thing. Because everything I was thinking about was already kind of just came into place. So it was just the right time. I wish I could say it was like some master direction that I created this huge roadmap for. It was in me, and I found the right person to be able to bring it to life at speed. We're not talking about 3 years, and that's another thing too for people to think about, because what Susan brought up is true. And I'm a nerd, even on the scientific level, so people understand why. Outside of all the things that are pointing to change, the Earth itself is going through a change that only happens every 3,500 years, and it's the first time it's happening as a technologically advanced civilization. And when that happens, things die. That's why we're seeing all the chaos that's happening. We're 5 years into the 10-year span. At the end of the 10 years, we'll be in space, right? Private space travel is right around the corner. So this is the time. If you look back where we started 5 years ago, that was the beginning of COVID. So it's true. It's not just like rah and, being hopeful. If ever there was a time to actually utilize what we have to start creating newer paradigms into the future, it's now. That's why every time I'm on a podcast or on a stage, I drop that seed of hope for a lot of people to keep going. We need it. There's a lot of huge changes happening right now to the next 5 years that close out that gap. And why not go for it at this stage? We have nothing to lose and all to gain.
Exactly. Well, I wish I could talk about this for hours, but I pay by the hour for our podcast provider, so I'm getting close to the limit I'm going to have. But I just wanted to thank thank all of our guests today. What a great show! I love doing shows like this. We'll have you guys back on even just in regular stuff, because I definitely want to do a GameFi show. I definitely want to do more, things on women founders. So, and yeah, just really love the inspiration and the words that you guys left with us today. It's great. And thanks so much for being here. So we'll go ahead and plug whatever you like. Go ahead, Van Ho, you first.
I'm just like, thank you for having me. I hope I plugged myself in today. If not, I did not do my job right, but that's okay.
You did great.
I really am appreciative. Like, this is my second time being on here, and
Yeah.
I've loved both times. So I actually subscribed to your little, you're not little, that sounded awful. I subscribed to your thing today, to your
It's
website.
okay.
I think that's genius. Yeah, and it was really nice to meet you as well. Like, I love hearing people with the same ideas and same goals and passions, and how we're different people, but it's like the ideas are so different, but you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to me. So it's a great conversation. It definitely gave me some more to just be excited about for the future, like,
It's serendipity, is it not?
yeah.
It's just
Oh my
serendipitous.
God. Do you remember those books?
I do.
Serendipitous. It was
It's
so good.
serendipitous.
Yeah.
No, I think this is it's crazy that this all kind of happened. I mean, in terms of how we've all met each other and how we've all been able to
Yeah.
continue staying in touch. And yeah, we're all building great things. It's just gonna get better from here. So
Absolutely.
onwards and upwards.
Absolutely.
Tanya, thanks for being here with us. Go ahead and
Yeah, no,
plug what you'd
thank
like.
Oh, just I'm grateful for the opportunity to be on a podcast stage with other women founders. There's not enough stages that are still offering that voice for women in Web3. It's changing, but it's nice that you're going out of your way to have some consistency with it outside of just, like a crypto conference or summit. So I appreciate that. And then if anyone wants to see what we're doing, they can go to regalresilience.com, and I'll be following the other guests as well in their journey and supporting any way I can there too.
Thank you.
And we'll have all the
I
links
followed
there
you
to everybody.
too.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah.
We'll have all the links in the show notes. You can join us at TVL to get more of that. Again, that is at school.com/Beacon. Absolutely free. Learn from the best in the business. If you want to get into blockchain investing and trying to figure out how to navigate this with these waters, because it can be tough. And you don't have to do it alone. Do it with a group that's been there, and we have success, and we're doing really well. And would love to have you as part of our community, chopping it up and finding great opportunities and making a difference in your life, so you can touch grass and spend more time with your family. So we're here every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on your favorite podcast aggregation, as well as our YouTube, our stream.tv, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. Hello to Instagram today. We're still working on TikTok. I don't think it's going to make it anytime soon, but we'll figure it out at some point. But we'll see you again. We also have our free community training for our sub brand called Beat the Banks that happens every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So you'll be seeing me there. We'll talk about stuff that's going on in the world with regards to crypto. There's a lot of things to talk about. So until then, we'll see you for next week. And thanks for joining us today. Again, follow, subscribe, like, notifications on, so you know where we get, and follow all of our guests. They're fantastic. I can't wait to have them back. Stick around, guys. And we'll say what we always say at the end of every show: beacons up, banks down. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Don't leave.